Deal TV. Learn and earn.
Animal nutrition and management, and I like teaching when questions are coming. So if you feel like you have a question, an experience that you have in your farm about nutrition and management, I'm going to answer that as I take you through, and I hope you are going to get time to practically see what you are going to learn tonight. So we are going to start with what is nutrition. Nutrition, it refers to feeding in this particular manner. I hope all of you are dairy farmers for milk. You're doing cows for milk. 90% are doing cows for milk, because today we are going to emphasize on milk so much, not beef, mostly milk. And it refers to when you are feeding your cows with the right ration for them to give you to give you high production in milk, to give you good fertility, and also longevity in your herd. So, and when we talk of nutrition, we are talking about energy feeds like maize germ. We have maize bran, wheat pollard, wheat bran. Those are the energy feeds. We also have proteins. When you talk about protein, we have animal protein and plant protein. For animal protein, we get it from fish meal. I'm sure you know fish meal. We also get it from bone, waste bones from animals, and also poultry. Those bones, after they have been manufactured, we have taken the stick. It is manufactured as bone meal for cows. For plant protein, we have like canola, sunflower, lucerne, desmodium. Those are all the animal plant proteins that you can get. We also have fiber that you get from napier grass, hay, silage. All of you, do you know silage? Yes. We have napier silage, corn silage, all that, sorghum silage. We also have minerals that is calcium, phosphorus, iron, zinc, all those that are very important for an animal to function. If you fail on all these things I'm telling you, you are not going to get milk. You are going to get so many conditions that you are going to see later. We also have water. I don't know whether you know that water is very important in an animal. It facilitates 80% of the milk that we get. And also for digestion and for the feed intake that your cow takes applies. 80% of the feed intake that you give to your cow, if you're not giving them water, it is not going to function well. And why are you doing all this? You're going to get high production in milk. You're going to get good fertility, strong immunity, and healthy body condition. Are we together? Now, in dairy farming, you're welcome. Okay. In dairy farming, each and every stage of a cow is fed differently. We have milkers, we have calves, we have heifers, we have dry cows, and all of them are given different nutrition, different concentrates, different minerals. For instance, what do we give our milking cows? The mineral supplement we are supposed to give for milking cows or for dry cows? Any idea?
Pardon?
The mineral supplement you're supposed to give a milking cow, it should be what? It should be a mineral rich in phosphorus.
Phosphorus, yes.
Because it is the one that is facilitating that milk. And you know milk is made of calcium. So if you give a mineral to your cow that is of low phosphorus, you are going to get a condition we call the one that a cow cannot stand.
Milk fever.
Milk fever, okay? So the same thing happens. If you are not able to dry off your cow well, transition cow management, you fail, you are going to get all those conditions. And at the end of the day, they are very expensive to a farmer. They are very expensive because in most of the times you find that you've lost that cow. So in a very short form, I'm going to give you a practical of how you're supposed to feed each and every cow on different nutrition and management. For instance, if you are milking a cow 30 liters a day, who has a cow that is hitting 30 liters in their farm? Hitting 30 liters? 20? You have?
Yes.
You have 30 liters. How do you feed it to hit those 30 liters?
We give them complete amino supplements. Those complete amino supplements, we mix the phosphorus, we mix the macadamia, canola, sunflower, cotton.
You get a dairy meal.
Yes.
That is a complete formula of dairy meal.
Exactly.
About the roughages?
Roughages, mostly I give hay, napier, including.
That is the dry matter, and the other one is the 40% is for wet matter. But now for this dry matter, we are going to divide it into 3 because we are giving our cows, maybe we have silage, we have napier, we have dairy meal, we also have mineral salts. So they apply in the 60%, while the wet matter is the fresh matter that you give to your cows. Maybe you have a field that there is a grass, you have Kikuyu grass in your fields, you have napier that is fresh that you are giving to your cows. That is the one that is going to cater for the other 40%. So if you are feeding that cow, assumingly for him, what he's supposed to give is at least 30 kilos of silage in a day, 5 kilos of hay in a day, and about 10 to 15 kilos of napier in a day, and about 8 kilos of dairy meal. And this dairy meal, have you ever taken to the lab to see the crude protein content in your dairy meal?
No.
I think you should. The average, an average one should be at least 18% CP. That is very important. And when you're talking of dairy meal, yes? Sorry? The quantity. For a cow that is 600 kilos, producing 30 liters, you're supposed to give like 30 kilos of silage, maize silage. On the higher side, 15 kilos of napier grass, 4 to 5 kilos of napier, and 6 to 7 kilos of dairy meal. And of course, 200, yes, for the whole day, and at least 150 to 200 grams of mineralic. So for this instance, maybe you're asking yourself how you're going to know that it is 200 grams. There is this normal spoon that we used to feed, tablespoon that you used to eat with it. Once you scoop that mineral salt, it's about 60 grams. So you can go and do that practically. When you scoop it properly, it's around 60 grams. So you can give those 4 in a day, they are okay. If the cow wants more, you can give. And also, I've seen majority of farmers mistaking that when you give your cow block salt, it is enough. No, it is not. So there's a difference between supplements, fodder, and concentrates. So I think for us to be in the same page, I'm going to explain the difference. When we talk about fodder, we are talking about anything napier, anything silage, sweet napier, sweet potato vines, Australian red napier, all those. Those are the fodder. When you come to supplements, we are talking about the mineral salts that you are giving to these cows. Now we have the, I understand he has some in Kampala, has a depot there that they normally sell. I'm going to mention some of the supplements that you can give to your cow, and you can get them to from his shop. We have supplements. I want you to understand the difference between supplements. Supplements are something that, like mineral salts, for instance, Maclic, Twigalic, Twigazole, the red salt, all those are the supplements. We have DCP for calcium. I'm sure you know it. DCP, that's a supplement. We have animatic calcium. That is a supplement that you're giving. A supplement is something that you're giving this cow to add on something she never got that was enough. Are we together? Now we have concentrates. When I talk about concentrates, I'm talking about dairy meal. Dairy meal now, it's a different one. Dairy meal is a complete meal that consists of energy in terms of dry matter, It consists of protein, it consists of minerals, it consists of supplement and premixes. So it is a complete meal. Up to there, are we together? That is what we call a dairy meal. And you cannot call maize germ a dairy meal because maize germ is a substitute of dairy meal. So maize germ falls into category of concentrates. Dairy meal, a complete meal, falls into a category of concentrates. Are we together so far? So have you gotten the difference? So when you are giving our animal a balanced ration of silage, napier, hay, and concentrates, and also minerals as supplements, I'm going to explain something. Each and every feed that you are giving the animal, be it dairy meal, be it silage, be it napier, it has two things. It has a dry matter in it and a moisture content in it. For instance, silage has a 60% dry matter and napier has 10% of dry matter. 90% is dry matter. I'm trying to answer his question. So the moment we say that we need up to 60, that ration that I gave you, it has been given in a matter of this silage, it had a dry matter of a certain percentage and a wet matter of a certain percentage. I didn't come with my laptop. I could have shown you of every feed, every fodder, every roughage, and its wet matter percentage versus dry matter percentage. So every time I'm telling you maybe silage should be this amount, I have done it in total of dry matter and wet matter. Are we together? So I've just given you a complete ration that has been formulated for that cow that we call total mixed ration. Are we clear? I think I have explained that clearly. Have I answered your question, sir?
Except the minerals and the supplement, I can't see where they come.
So I said, let me repeat, for a cow that is producing 30 liters, weighing 600 kilos of live body weight, you're going to give 30 kilos of silage, that is on the higher side, 15 kilos of napier grass. And remember, this ration, it has both dry matter and wet matter. 6 to 7 kilos of dairy meal. In this case, I'm assuming that you have a dairy meal that is of 18% crude protein that you have mixed with maize germ, that you have mixed with wheat pollard or wheat bran, you have macadamia waste, you have sunflower, you have fish meal. I'm assuming you have mixed everything and gotten a crude protein of about 18%. That is, you give 6 to 7 kilos of a day. Then if you have desmodium, you have any plant protein that you have, lucerne, caliandra, all those, you can mix at 1%. That is around 1 kilo to 2 kilos a day. Remember, if you give too much protein to a cow, it becomes a bypass protein. So the body takes whatever it needs and then the rest is waste. So we give it in minimizing. We don't give it like the way we give energy feed. And also now the last one is the mineralics, where we said we can give up to 200 grams for a mature cow weighing 600 kilos, sorry. Dry matter, what really? Hay, like hay only. The cow cannot survive on hay alone. It cannot survive on hay alone. It needs balancing. But if that cow is a dry cow, you can feed it on hay and a bit of napier. It cannot survive on hay alone. So that is maybe a mistake, or I don't know how they do it, but you cannot. You cannot feed on dry matter alone. So that is a dairy cow, a milking cow or a wet cow or a lactating cow that you are feeding like that.
Sister,
yes.
just a moment. They have a reason why they're telling about hay. You fall when you're just at Elite, but I think you have sown when you saw when there's napier somewhere. You see? So they can say that in the morning, hay. In the evening, this. Yes, alfalfa, like that. So it doesn't mean that as you have seen there's hay all the time you were there, that they're feeding on hay. I didn't see that. I don't think that you saw. It was hay and it was there milk down. Did you see? Yes. So I think you got it.
Okay. So yes. Yeah, 2 buckets. 2 buckets per feeding. 2 buckets, the 20 kilo buckets. Twice. If you are feeding 3 times per feeding, if you are feeding 2 times per feeding. Yeah.
That is silage.
Silage. And of course you can have a weighing machine. You weigh. But bucket, if it is for silage, bucket is okay. For Napier, 1 bucket is enough. Yeah, it's something that I've done practically. 2 buckets is around 10 kilos. So if you give 3 times, that is 30. If you are giving 3 times, you just divide. Yeah. You're welcome. So that is a milking cow that you are feeding like that. And if you continue with that, she's going to come on heat very quickly. Maybe 45 days after calving, she's supposed to come on heat. If very late, she's going to come on heat within the 90 days of calving down. And anyone whose cows does that, coming back to heat 90 days after calving down?
Mine now, 45 to 60.
45 to 60. 1 year. 1 year. It is good to be honest because you will know where you are failing.
Where to improve.
Yes, where to improve, and you are going to come there. So once your cow comes on heat, you are supposed, if it comes for within 45 days like his, you are supposed to milk that cow for 305 days. That is around 6 months. And the 7th month, you go to a stage we call dry cow. A very important stage that makes your cow to come back on heat after 1 year. So if you fail here, you failed everywhere. So what do you do when your cow has hit 7 months? She was producing 30 liters or 25 liters. Let's go with 30 liters, the one that we have already done the maths on. When she hits, definitely, when she's in calf, she's going to drop from 30, maybe to 20, to 15. So what do you do at 7 months? You reduce the number of milking. How many times do you milk? 3 times. And before I forget, a cow, after every 8 hours, a cow is ready to produce milk. Do you know that? After every 8 hours, a cow is ready to produce milk. So, if you take longer, that milk ferments in the udder of the cow. And then your cow, you'll call the vet and tell them, my cow has mastitis and my cow has lost a quarter. And of course, if she was giving you 30 liters, if you delay, she's not going to give you 30 liters. She's going to give you less. The more times you milk those 3 times, the more milk. The same cow they have, and I milk 2 times, they milk 3 times, they are going to get more milk. I'm going to get less milk. And this incomplete milking leads to mastitis, a very dangerous disease that is costing a lot of farmers. Loss of quarters. Anyone who has experienced that?
Sister,
you find, yes?
Just a moment.
Okay.
Banayi munasonyiwa okumukwata mu katono naye kino ngenda kwogera ku mwami Stone tuli naye wano tuli naye mukulu naye byo ngenda okwogerako nga bimukwatako abamu ku mmwe nze ngenda ne bagamba omuntu akame omulundi ogwokusatu guno nze kye nazuula nganze ebintu ebisinga byenjogera mbyezuulira nganze omwana aweereddwa amata ku makya mama we n'agenda akola n'addamu n'amuwa amata olw'eggulo takula kyekimu n'omwana aweereddwa amata ku makya ne bamuwa amata wakati ne bamuwa amata ddi era mbatunulira nga wadde bonna kyekimu tebakulira kyekimu nasooka ne ntunulira amata ga wakati nga sinalowooza ku ssente ngalowooleza nnyana zange nze ojja n'otunulira ennyana nalongalo namugamba nti namulaga ennyana ya myezi ena naŋŋamba apaana eri mu 7-8 naye ngeri myezi ekyo ena nze nunda nziwayo neji mache ji nolokulo ki eji ekira ya likube teke mato jiwe tekulima nga bisi mumpulirize kati alina kyatabagambye a cow's udder is like a toilet. If you press like this, the water goes. Another water does what? Comes back. Mitegere. Ne abamu bagamba nti sina wegenda tunda mata ga sawa za wakati. Mitegere. Sina wegenda tunda mata ga sawa ga zadi za wakati. Ne lowooza ku nnyana zo. Abamfuna lowooza ku ki? Ulibugagabira bannayimbeera. Ne bakugambye ogenda kulwaza ki ente ezo. Ebintu ebimu tebyetaagisa nnyo magezi ga bitabo. Nze nandibadde ngamba nti kasita mmanyi ki ekiŋŋambisa bannange. Ne njagala ŋŋanjo bwe mbeera ku TikTok, bwe mbeera ku TV, bwe mbeera ku radio, bwe nkubiriza omuntu nga mukubiriza alunda ente z'amata. Ate ne biki ebizibu byagenda osangamu nabyo njagala bikole ki bimuwulire. Nze bingi enkonga nyingi ezinkubye saga zikole ki zibakube. So omukyala kyayogerako milking 3 times benefits you the calf because it takes the milk in the afternoon. Are you together? And even the health of the mother. Madam, go ahead.
Okay.
Before you sit, about the milking time. And so what does it become a milking? No one should say that it become a milking. Does it affect the cow?
No.
Consistency.
No, it can't. Please, this thing, let this thing be in your head. Then the cheroeza CDA. Consistent, daily. No. CDA. Consistent, daily actions. Ekyo kiteke mutwe. Buli omwa interpreting wakola ki? Bas mukiremere ke kino kikulu nnyo. Bwina kubaako kokolayo nga kali consistent. No, madam was asking. Yes. Emirundi gino esatu era nawo kannyonnyolewo muyinza okufunawo ente giwa okusinziira ku kyekuwa. For example, let me talk this in English. If a cow is being milked 30 liters, remove 5 liters and put it aside. Then divide by that remaining 25 liters into 2. How many?
3. You want to achieve?
No, what you want to know how many kilos of dairy milk to give a cow.
Okay.
Yes. Because what my formula is, but no, it's the Kambaze Kinzo Bangwira. Entire Wezara, a Japua liters, in the Queramtazing, to you what dairy in the way for us, see what dairy milk Pakamata, because that's it. Uresonga. Nebona jiwa dairy milk, Amatogenda Kolachi. Mumfune? Nebo jiwa dairy milk, Amatogenda Kolachi. Katojiwa. Eina amatagengendo kuwa ejja kwa 15 oba 2. Amatagenda aliwo kutereera nga tuwezezze ennaku zaffe amatagakoze ekigati nze ente zange zibeera wakati w'ennaku 4 ku 5. Ennaku 7 era ejja kubeera wakizibana ennaku 7. Waliwo eddagala ly'onojjuwa nja bibasomesa bamita Catonex ne Rumiko. Ennaku 3 ku 4 amatagenda okubanguza ki gateredde. Kati ente wewe amatalo gatereera tandika ogiwaayo kilo emu n'ekitundu. Kilo emu dairy meal
Per feeding or the whole?
Yes, per feeding. Giwe ku makya, giwe wakati, giwe olweggulo. Ebadde ku liters 20. Nga togiwa ne dairy meal yegiraba nga ekoze 24. Eyongeddeko lita meka? Enja giwe emu kitundu. Tubageza mu kilo meka? Pero nange shooting ze kilo meka? asatu kilos ezimu ne liters. Enkera yalwo kola 2 kitundu kilo meka nekola kilos asatu meka negera liters ameka asatu mu 5. Ente yo nebona agiwa kilos 10. Jukira wajiwa litwa ne musanvu kitundu nekwesha za asatu meka nebona agiwa kilo 8 ejja kugamba nti nzo obusobozi bwange obukuwa amata. They call it pushing a cow to give you, or bribing a cow to give you milk. Yes, you're bribing it. Even if we push it, even if you give it 15 kgs of dairy milk, it will give you the same amount. So you go back where it gave you 35 liters, and how many kilos did you give? 7.5. So feed that cow according, give it dairy milk according how much milk it does give you. Go ahead.
Mr. Secretary, sorry, before you sit, Madam Zipporah together. I wanted this burning question to pass through. Now at Elage Farm, they had a cow whereby they have market for colostrum. There's some member who asked about colostrum. I told him, you wait, the professionals are coming. Now in our country, how do you maintain colostrum so that you benefit out of it? I think that burning question can go out through.
So, because
That will leave it with to Cattleman.
I have understood the question. I'm going to answer you, but yeah, we are maybe they have. I'm going to understand to explain a bit about colostrum, but how you're going to get his. No, he knows the. So we are going to come to that. So I think you have been explained to a language I never understood anything. So, so.
Cow that gives 30.
Yeah.
And you saw in the room, there was only 130. Now, for those who don't get 30,
That's how you have.
Do we still maintain the same?
That is, actually, if you give that, your cow is going to move from 10 liters to about 15, but gradually, being determined by the stage of lactation. If she's in her stage, late lactation, for instance, she's about to be dried off, she cannot pick, but immediately she gives birth, you do that, she's going to pick. If you have milk for 1 year, don't expect too much, but when she comes, you feed her like that, she comes on heat, you serve, you're definitely, if not 30 liters, you're going to get about 20 liters. So we are going to go around and come back, and then I'm going to explain on what you're supposed to do to your cow for it to pick gradual by gradual, because you cannot introduce just once. So we were drying our cows, and when we dry our cows, we were milking 3 times. Now we reduced to 2 to stop the milk synthesis. You've been told that if you milk 3 times, more milk. So if you reduce the times of milking, the milk synthesis go down and no more production of milk. So at 7 months, we want this cow to reduce milk production to something like 10 kilos, 5 kilos, so that we can dry off that cow for about 60 days and we prevent mastitis. So what do you do at this stage? We were giving our cow 15 kilos of 30 kilos of silage, sorry. We reduced to 10. Why do we reduce? Because we don't want more production of milk. Because remember, whatever you are giving your cow is whatever she's giving you. If you don't give, cows are the best wasters. They know how to waste. Yes, they know how to. If you want manure, they will give you generously. So you have to be really mindful on what you are doing. Are you feeding for milk or are you feeding for manure? I know majority of us here are feeding for manure.
You ask, are you a manure farmer? Or milk farmer?
Yeah, I know majority of us are manure farmers.
You've come to improve.
Yes, that is why you are here. So, and you're going to see practicals, and I hope you're going to, and when you see the practicals, you're going to have more questions that you're going to ask. So you are reducing silage to 10. Why are we doing this? Because silage is a high energy feed. Do you remember it is maize silage? The normal maize that we eat, roasting maize, that is the maize that you're using to make our silage. So it has high contents of energy. So if you continue in this dry cow time to continue that for the 7th month, if you continue to give 30 kilos of silage, she's going to be fat. And in this case, we don't want fat cows. How many wants fat cows? Fat cows? You want a fat cow? Sorry? You want a fat cow? I'm going to explain to you what the fatness does to the cow. For our case, we want a lean cow, not too thin, not too fat. We want a cow with a body score of about 3 to 3.5. So you reduce silage to 10 kilos. You reduce napier to 10 kilos. That is for a dry cow. This is a must. Whether a cow was giving you 10 kilos, 10 liters of milk or 30 liters, this is a must. This is a must. That reduction is a must. So 10 kilos of napier grass and about 8 kilos of hay. Remember, in our milking cow, we were giving about 5. This time round, we have increased because it is the dry matter that we want. We don't want that cow to fatten, but also we want that calf to grow. So we increase a lot of dry matter here and reduce the energy intake because dry matter has a lot of fiber and we want a lot of fiber in that cow to prevent common metabolic diseases that you are going to see if you fail on this management. So for the concentrates, you can do 0 concentrate during this time or you can give at least 1 kilo. So concentrate is 0 or 1 kilo because we don't want to fatten this cow. Because if you fatten this cow, when she's about to give birth, she's going to have something we call negative energy balance, which I'm going to explain to you. So far, have you gotten how to dry a cow?
A little bit on the figures again. The energy.
So the energy we've said, you reduce silage to 10 kilos. You reduce napier to 10. We were giving 15 to 10. We increase hay to 8 or even 10, the dry matter, the hay, the bomber rods, the barley straws, the wheat straws, the rice husks, all that you increase to 10. Remember, it is chopped. It is chopped. And cows love palatability. So if you go and take something like a piece like this paper, she's not going to eat. She's going to look for the fine chops that you have put in the trough. And now at this stage, you can opt to do 0 concentrates or you give a kilo. That is enough. The protein, you can give like 1, but very minimal. That is the 7th month of drying or for drying a cow. So far, any question? Now, why are we drying this cow? Because she underwent a lot of stress when you are milking her. You had done a lot of damage to the udder when you are milking her. And now this 7th month, you are giving her time to heal as she prepares for the next lactation. And this is the stage where you find the udder is completely gone. You don't think that there will be any milk in that udder. And you find that this cow is sleeping a lot because it is tired. Remember, water, we are giving it ad libitum. Ad libitum means without measure, for them to measure for themselves. Water, we are giving ad libitum. Before I continue, each and every stage of a cow has the capacity of water it's supposed to take. For milkers, they take up to 100 liters. Do you people reach 100 liters on your cows? Drinking 100 liters in a day. Do you reach 100 liters? Or you give with a small jerry can? A milking cow should not take less than 80 liters in a day and a maximum of 100 liters. That is a milking cow, whether giving 30, whether giving 20, whether giving 10. So long as it is a mature cow, it should not take less than 80 liters. For this cow that is in calf, it takes about 75 liters, 60 to 75 liters, not less than that. If they take less than that, you are going to have digestion problems. You are going to find that they have what we call they have difficulty in defecating. I don't know, I forgot the name is running away from my mind. Constipation. Yeah, she's going to have constipation and the digestion is not going to go through. And when they block the omesam, a cow has 4 compartments. They have a rumen, they have a omesam, they have rumen, reticulum, omesam, and abomesam. So if the omesam is hardened, that stool that is in the stomach, the ingesters, we call them the ingesters. If they dry too much because of lack of water, they die. We call that the nagana. Yes, I'm going to explain all that. So we were here at 7 months, and that is why I was very specific, 7th month. Now we were talking about water. Wait, we are going to get there. The next point is about the last month. Yeah, so we were talking about giving them water. I was just saying because people forget. So we were saying that in calf cows, they take about 75. For heifers, they take about 50 liters in a day. And for calves, they take up to 30 liters or 40 liters in a day. For calves, 3 months and above. So the 7th month, we said no concentrates. But in this, when they were being milked, we were giving them high phosphorus salt lick, but when you dry off, don't give that. There is a specific salt for dry cows. And we have trigger lick dry cow, mark lick dry cow, vital dry cow. Why are we giving this dry cow specific mineral salt? Because the high phosphorus salt has calcium, and that is why when you get sick and go to the hospital, we are being told, take milk, take bone soup, because cows store calcium in their bones. So when you milk the 30 liters, you depreciate a lot of calcium, over 60% of calcium in the animal's body. But the salt that you are supposed to give when you are milking has calcium. So you give out and you give back. Now when you come to dry cow, that dry cow mineralic does not have calcium. So you train that cow, you are training that cow to extract the calcium that it had stored as a reservoir to use it in the growth of the calf, maintaining the body condition and giving birth. Are we together? So you transit from 200 grams of high phosphorus mineralic to 200 grams of dry cow mineralic. I insist, dry cow mineralic. That is a very important point. Dry cow mineralic. When you go to his shop, please tell him to give you dry cow mineralic. So we are on the 7th month. Our cow was healing from all the stress. Now we are in the 8th and the last month of the cow being in calf. In this stage, it is the stage that we call steaming up. And steaming up, it refers to 30 days prior to calving and 30 days post-calving. Are we together up to there? So what do you do in the transition cow management? So we give back whatever we had denied. You increase the silage because now you are preparing this cow. If it was the first lactation, she was giving you 30. The second lactation, she's supposed to add at least not less than 10 kilos. So what are we expecting? Around 40 kilos of milk. For those who are doing 20, we expect 30. For those doing 10, we are expecting 20. So you take back silage, but not fully, gradually. If you are giving 10, tomorrow please give around 15. Do that for like 3 days. After 3 days, make it 20. Do that gradually because the stomach, the rumen is not that big because it has been pressed by the baby. Continue doing that gradually until the cow calves down. So you take back silage to, by the time she's giving birth, you are giving at least 25. By the time she's giving birth, that is for silage. For napier, you reduce again to 5. For napier, you maintain it 10. And for some milk, mineral supplement, you make it 200 still until she calves down. For the dairy meal, you move gradually from 1 kilo, adding it consistently up to 4. By the time she's giving birth, she's not supposed to take more than 4 kilos. Why is that? Because the rumen, the abomasum has been displaced and the feed intake is very low. So if you give a lot of concentrates, we normally have something we call displaced abomasum. It ruptures and your cow dies. No, you can decide to ensile Napier. So you get Napier silage, maize silage. You can choose to, like me in my farm, I do fresh. I don't ensile, I do fresh. Yeah, so it is the way you want, so long as it is Napier. After you've chopped.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you add these concentrates.
Yeah.
And then
You feed to the cows. So for brewery waste, it has a lot of energy. What it does, it increases the amount of energy in that cow and produces more milk. So it is very good if done consistently. I've had something that you have done CDA. It's so good when you have concentrates. But myself, I'm a breeder. I do breeding. So in most of the cases, you won't find me using brewery waste because I want to stay with a certain cow for quite a long time for me to get more daughters for breeding. But if you are doing your dairy farming for commercial, like, I'm staying with this cow for 5 years, 6 years, and then I dispose, good for you. But for me, I wouldn't advise so much. But if you're doing it commercially, and if wherever you are selling your milk, they are not very strict in quality. Where in our place, they are very strict in terms of quality, especially where I sell my milk. So it gives that aroma of acidic smell, and they don't like it in milk. But if it is good for you, then go ahead. It has a good high energy and protein. So more milk production, less concentrates. So if you're giving brewery waste, for instance, if you're giving a cow 8 kilos of dairy meal and you have brewery waste, you can cut by half. Are we together?
So you do 4 kilos
of dairy meal, but now you lower the longevity of that cow. The lifespan of that cow reduces because you are going to you are going to depreciate a lot of calcium, which she cannot be able to sustain more than 6 years. Yeah. So if you know your cow, you are going to keep it for like 3-4 years and then you dispose, you can use it. A breeder like myself here, I cannot do that because I breed cows for sale. I breed cows for contract mating with the government institution, with NARO from your country. We do contract with them. I don't use that. They won't recommend that on my cows.
Sister,
they regulate.
A moment on that. Kibadde kirungi omuntu ayogedde ku kigambo ky'ekikanja ebizibu.
I think you can talk in English. Recommend.
No, I'm on that. You have already done it. Ebizibu bibiri oba bisatu naye byensinga okumanya bibiri. A cow being fed on brower waste. If you are to have that cow for 10 years, you're going to have it for 5 or 6.
Longevity. Yeah.
2. Cows which are being fed on brower waste, they can take a year without going on heat. Who have ever experienced that? Reason why you are just bribing it to get milk.
Let me cut you short. Also, we said it has high energy. You make that cow to become too fat. If you look at the cows that are feeding on brewery waste, they become too fat. And when the cow is too fat, they don't come on heat.
Exactly.
Because that fat covers the ovaries. And then ovulation does not take. Yes.
And 2, in dairy meal, we have phosphorus, you have protein, you have fats. But in the brewer waste, what's in there?
Energy only. Energy.
Altogether.
Because It is made from barley. All of us, we know barley plant. Those barley, they are the ones that are compressed. They make alcohol, and then the waste is sold to the farmers. And you get a lot of cases of acidosis. You find your cow is bloated because of too much acid.
Now, some farmers who mostly say that I have to feed my cow on raw waste, I advise them to give at least a kilo of dairy milk, because it consists protein, fats, and phosphorus. But most of them who are feeding on that raw waste, a kilo of dairy milk. Obamunfunye njenteyo nga gwolemerako nti apaana nino giwe ekikanja giwe wakirikire mu dairy milk kuba mulimu ebintu ente byeyetaaga ebitali mu kikanja era mujja mugitunulire ente gibawa kikanja oli wajja entuba yanzaala ezo naye ng'omunyonyola bunyonyozi nti ente yanzaala mmeka naye nga na mubutuufu ekituufu yanzaala mmeka.
Now that is why we are giving it on low. So if you look at our silage is always on high, because in terms of nutrients, silage has a lot of nutrients compared to Napier. And generally, apart from super Napier, I think most of the Napiers, the indigenous Napier, they have about 7% out of 100 nutrition-wise. But nowadays, our scientists have brought super Napier that has at least 14, 15. Others, they say it is all the stuff, but for Napier, it is all year round. So I call it for a bad day, and it is a must you have as a farmer for that bad day.
So in terms of quality, it is low.
It is very low. And let me quote this. If you are a farmer there feeding your cows on Napier alone, don't expect 30 liters. Don't. You are going to get an average of 20, 18. And again, we don't want to give our cows 15, 18 kilos of dairy meal. We are going to get laminitis and acidosis. So we want to balance. So I'm saying Napier is good, but not that nutritious. If you want milk, maize. In your country, you are blessed with maize. Maize silage is the best. Hi. Can you continue? We were at the transition cow management, and we were taking back our cow to dairy mill as we are preparing her to calve down. And now it is the last day she's calving down. And the early signs, a cow should take up to 2 hours before calving down, before even assistance. If you've done all the steaming very well, steaming is very simple. Can I repeat there on steaming? Can I repeat? On the last month, on the 7th month, we were giving silage 10 kilos. On the last month, you take back up to maybe 30 or 25, but you do it gradually. Silage, you take it back, but gradually. If you are giving 10, add 5 tomorrow. After 3 days, add more 5, like that, gradually until you hit the target. For dairy meal, we were not giving. So you introduce from 1, slowly by slowly. By the time she's giving birth, you should be giving her at least 4 kilos. Napier, we maintain to 10. The reason as to why I'm insisting on Napier, hopefully you're going to bring them in our farm.
Yeah.
You're going to see like we have very big cows. The biggest cow I have in my farm is about 830 kilos. So I want you to imagine how many kilos of silage I can give to that cow to fill that rumen. She gives me 48 liters, to give me 48 liters. I want you to imagine in your mind. So the reason as to why I'm insisting on Napier, assumingly you have a very huge cow like that one, and the cost of milk is not that good. Pricing of the milk is not that good. So at the end of the day, I want to put something in my pocket. So I'll use the Napier to fill the rumen and the silage to give me milk. So it helps it is like a rumen fill. Let me call it a rumen fill. So your cow will never be thin when you have that Napier. So we give 200, I hope you're in the same page, 200 of dry cow mineralic until she calves down. And we reduce napier from 8, the one that we are giving on the 7th month, to 5 kilos. Now, you find that your cow has a very big udder. A very big udder. And sometimes you see like she's trembling, she's struggling to wake up. If you monitor her, she's like pushing herself like an old woman trying to stand up. That means that your cow needs supplementation of the calcium. Remember, we talked about different names. When I say supplement, I mean those small things you're supposed to add to your cow. When it is concentrates, I'm talking about maize germ, dairy meal, wheat bran, all that. So there's something we call calcium, oral calcium, enzymatic calcium, which I know it is available in his shop. I know you can get that there. If you see your cow is struggling, or 2 weeks prior to calving, I advise farmers to give their cows 200 ml per day. 200 ml per day. For my friend here, there's a ml. There's a syringe. Meals. There's a syringe that has calibration of 100. You can use that one. You give 100 in the morning, 100 in the evening, until she calves down. But if you see like she's eating normally, there's no problem, she's active, no need of giving until she gives birth. Okay? Are we together up to that point? Now, my cow is in labor. I've noted for 2 hours she's in labor. I have done my steaming very well. I expect her to calve by herself with no assistance. But in some cases, you find yourself, you did a very good steaming and the calf is too big for the animal. That is when you assist. Cows, we can do cesarean sections, but I don't advise on that. Assist. If it is a first time calver, that is a heifer, please assist from the word go. When the amniotic fluid breaks and you see the front legs, please assist. Don't wait for her. The calf might be too big for her because she's a heifer. But normally a mature cow can give birth by herself. When she gives birth, this is a very important point I want you to note. We said now our cow has calved down, whether assisted or not, she has calved down. Now what do you do after calving down? Someone to tell us what they normally do? Who will tell us what they do when your cow has calved down? What do you do? Anyone? When your cow calves down, what do you do?
Remove the mucus from the nose and the mouth.
For the calf. Yes. Another point. What do you do when your cow calves down?
On what? On the calf?
On the mother, on the calf either. Now she's here, she has given birth. What do you do?
I normally tell the worker to hold 2 legs and leave the other one hanging like this.
Yeah.
For about 3 to 5 minutes. Then after that, we start doing like this. Then I look for, I take the baby away from the mother.
Okay.
Yes.
Now from today you are going to do it differently. So immediately the cow calves down. For the mother, for about two hours, she has not taken the amniotic fluid. It has not gotten into her nostrils and the trachea. So there is no need of mounting her with the hind legs to get out. If the mother struggled to give birth, in most cases you find that she took those amniotic fluids inside her nostrils and the trachea. But normally they don't. You just clean with your hand. You clean with your hand and then you let the mother to lick her for about 30 minutes. You can allow her to lick for 30 minutes, or if it is a good day, there is no rain, they can stay with the mother for a whole day, there is no harm. Okay? I know some people will tell you don't allow the baby to be licked by the mother. No. It is a very important practice, because remember, this cow for 2 months, she was not being milked. So mentally, she knew, me, I'm not producing any milk. So the time she's bonding with the kid or the calf, it stimulates milk letdown, or it releases the oxytocin hormone for milk production. Now, after you've done that, we come to the mom. The mom is very tired. She has lost a lot of water. A very important point you should do is give warm water. Warm water. I insist, warm water to the mother. The calf cannot be able to stand. She's there being licked by the mom. Bring warm water, at least 20 liters. Warm. Why should it be warm? We want to increase the palatability. If your cow comes and smells that water and then it touches the lips, the muzzle, and she feels it is cold water, she's not going to take. But because we want to soothe her, right now we are soothing her. She's our best cow. We want to soothe her because we want her in production. We have to give her 20 liters of warm water. Why do we give 20 liters of warm water or even more? I've not put a limit. 20 or more. If you give 20, she finishes, wants more, please add, but should be warm. Why are we giving warm water? Remember we said our cow has four compartments. The true stomach of a cow is called abomasum. Now the abomasum is the one that is near the uterus. When the calf is growing, the uterus compresses the abomasum, and now the abomasum compresses the other compartments. So once the cow has calved down, the uterus relaxes, and now the place where it was occupied by the uterus belonging to the abomasum, there is air. There is air trapped in there. That is why most of the farmers, I know all of you maybe have experienced after calving down, your cow does not want to eat. It doesn't want to see dairy meal, to be specific, dairy meal. They don't want to see dairy meal. That is the reason. There is air trapped in, and she's having a lot of stress, and therefore affecting the appetite. This water that you have given goes direct to the rumen. The rumen inflates, then pushes back the other compartments, and then that hollow that was filled with air is covered, and the animal can now start eating properly. Are we together so far? Now we are ready to milk the cow. Remember, when you are giving this water, that cow is being licked by the mother because we want the mother to release oxytocin hormone.
The warm water is
for that, just that moment, before she takes anything else, even before giving dairy meal, wheat bran. I advise farmers, day 1, day 2, give your cow on wheat bran because the palatability is quite low. Are we together so far? Now, during that stage, we said transition cow management refers to 30 days prior to calving, 30 days post-calving. Between the last month and the first month is where you determine how long you are going to stay with your cow in your farm. It is the one that determines that your cow is going to take 45 days to come on heat, 1 year to come on heat. It also determines the production, the milk production you're going to get during that period. Are we together? If you do that, I can see every farmer producing not less than 20 liters.
Deal TV. Learn and earn.